What's cracking, everybody? You're here with me, King ETL. Did you miss me? Cause I missed you. Now you must be wondering, why was I gone for a week? I had to make it snow. If you live in the Michigan area, look out your window. You see all that snow? That was me. Your school closed? That was me. I got you, fams. But you must be wondering, why did I do this? Cause I love a snowy winter. How did I do this? Well, you see, the day before my friend Zuzu's birthday, which is December 11th for all y'all that did not know, we boarded a plane and we went to the Arctic, where I proceeded to cut off his head and sacrifice his body to a snow god. Now, you must be wondering, why did I go to such an extreme for it to snow? Well, because I was worried there wasn't going to be any snow for Christmas. It was like the third week of December. There wasn't any snow, so I needed a little bit of reinsurance, just a little blood sacrifice to the snow gods, just in case. But don't worry, we'll build him a new body or something. Zuzu lived through worse. He got stabbed before. He'll be fine. But considering the snow, considering the time of year and how much I love Christmas, it's time for our Christmas video. And this Christmas video is a controversial crown. Anyway, I was watching a few holiday specials on my phone and computer and TV, getting into the Christmas jive, and I was noticing Santa's Workshop. Whenever you see a movie like the Santa Claus or a Mickey Mouse movie or something where they have Santa's Workshop, you always see a little bit different, but it's always something relating to a bunch of elves working on dolls and teddy bears and stuff. And it got me thinking, it wouldn't be like that anymore. I mean, sure, that stuff could pass for maybe the 1990s when kids actually wanted, Teddy Roosevelt or whatever, talking teddy bears. Sure, that stuff could have passed then, but nowadays, if I see something like the Family Guy Christmas special and I just see elves working on toy trains and wooden blocks, I'm slightly concerned. It feels like Santa Claus is cheating us. So I'm thinking we need a bit of an update to our so-called Santa's Workshop. And here's what I'm suspecting. This controversial crown is going to be all about Santa's Workshop and Santa Claus himself. But first, let's learn a little bit about old Saint Nick before I start going in on him for not having the proper equipment needed. So, the good Saint Nicholas, that's what he was called, he was a monk. Back in the days around, people think the 4th century, he lived in a place called Marie in Asia Minor, which is currently called Turkey. Yes, there's actually a country named Turkey. That surprised me when I was little, but you live and you learn. Anyway, the monk Saint Nicholas was a very rich man because stories say his parents died when he was young and left him a ton of money. And being the rich, kind monk he is, he decided to help the poor and help people in need, and the legend goes that he would sometimes leave secret gifts to people who really needed them. And that's the basic story behind Saint Nicholas. Just a nice old man who was giving charity, feeding the hungry, going to an orphanage and dropping off presents for the toys for no reason at all, not asking for anybody for anything. He was just a total good guy. And yeah, that's totally awesome. And I see how the Santa Claus tradition spread of there's an old man who travels the world delivering toys to all the good boys and girls. One thing that the story didn't say was how did he get his stuff. Now, these legends were saying he was an old rich guy, so they saying he bought them. But the legends around the world for how he delivers them, they say elves make and deliver the toys. Now, this isn't that hard to believe since we're talking about a man that flies around the world at the speed of light delivering presents on one day no matter what time zone says. But it kind of wobbles a bit. Now, the elf workshop, Santa's Workshop in the North Pole, it was a whole good idea. I understand the idea, elves making toys. That was good for the time period, I would think. I mean, people always say, you can't change a classic, but how do you expect kids today to actually believe in Santa Claus when you never get a depiction of the North Pole that's building a PS4 or an iPhone? So that's what today's topic is about. We should modernize how people see Santa's Workshop. I remember in a old episode of the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special, there was like a version of Santa's workshop where Mrs. Claus is a CEO agent. He had like a office building. I was like, yeah, I could see that for modern day Santa. But then after that episode, after the joke was done, they went back to the typical elves building little toy bears and junk. And it's like, kids don't really ask for that anymore these days. Most kids these days is gonna ask Santa Claus for some bit of technology, maybe some clothes, and occasionally some toys. So, in my personal opinion, if I was writing a story, a modernized story with Santa Claus, I would keep the magic sleigh, keep the reindeer, keep Rudolph, all that, but the way he runs his workshop will be completely different. And here's how I would tell a story of Santa Claus. Santa Claus makes secret business deals with all the CEOs of major companies like Hasbro, Sony, Microsoft. They know Santa's real, but they pretend not to know he's real for a good cover story. And if anybody tries to explain or show proof that Santa Claus is real, Santa Claus has Krampus go take him out. Now, his workshop is a mix of elves building actual toys and elves learning how to create new versions of technology. Like, say this was a Christmas special on TV, you would see one room for toys, one room for clothes, one room for new technology. You see elves building computers, elves hardwiring things. And that's how I would like to see Santa Claus portrayed for a modern day time. I know people wouldn't want to agree with that because they're like, oh, it's not traditional, but that's kind of how I would see it. The way Christmas always went in my house, the big expensive stuff like the PlayStation or the TV or something that you really wanted would always say from mom or from dad or from whoever. But then the little stuff like the random toy you either didn't ask for or the toy that you didn't really want but you're glad you had would say from Santa Claus. And that's an okay way to keep the tradition going. But when you're like, when a kid writes a letter to Santa saying, I want a PS4, if you buy that PS4 and say from Santa, eventually the kid will start to wonder, how did Santa build this if all I ever see the elves making are wooden trains and stuff? Which is why I believe in order to keep the tradition alive for a newer generation, you gotta slightly tweak how kids will perceive the workshop going. I perceive it like an actual factory now. This isn't little Santa's workshop anymore. This is Santa's corporation. Santa is like a CEO right now, taking in money so he can afford the technology needed to build you a new PS4 and put it under your tree. And if you want to put it that way, and you thinking about it like that, that would explain why a lot of kids don't get nothing from Santa Claus no more. Santa Claus is saving all his expensive new stuff for the actual good kids, and a lot of you kids who think you're good but not don't get nothing because Santa Claus can't afford to give it to you no more. But that's just my personal opinion on how I want to see a modern age Christmas story play out. But as tradition, as a Christmas tradition of Controversial Crown, I go around and I ask people all over, how do you think Christmas will play out? And I'm about to read off to you my top 4 comments of how people decided they wanted to see Santa's workshop. Oh, here's a very important comment. One of our first fans to ever comment back on our Twitter. This dude called Marvel Zombie Dude. His Twitter handle is at Marvel Zombie BIEK. I don't know what that part means, but I can't pronounce the shit. He was saying he sees a modern age Santa workshop as a Chinese sweatshop because he says most things are made in China anyway. Now that would be a kind of a dark way of seeing it. Like you actually find Santa's workshop. It is not actually elves. It's a bunch of like Chinese kids all working and Santa calls them as elves. That would be hilarious. That would honestly be hilarious to see. Thank you for your comment. Next one comes from a child of mine, Cami Kippers. She was saying she's pretty sure it will be similar to a factory or an assembly line type of deal. So for some reason, everybody thinks Santa Claus is running a sweatshop in the North Pole. And I'm starting to think he is. Like, have you ever seen a Christmas special where the elves ever take breaks, man? I mean, sure, they only gotta work 1 day a year, but still, they never take any breaks. Another person, Najia, who commented on this has said, probably set up like an Apple store. Nah, not to be technology racist, I don't mess with Apple, so I have no idea what an Apple store looks like. Isn't an Apple store called an Apple Orchard? It should be called an Apple Orchard. Anyway, after taking a look at what an Apple store would look like, it would be kind of weird seeing a bunch of elves working in there. Like Santa Claus come up, this kid requested an iPhone 7, please. And he just like, oh, here's our latest model in a fucking blue shirt. Anyway, final comments come from a friend of mine, Jeremy. And he also says, the world's largest sweatshop. I guess everybody wants to see Santa Claus in charge of little kids at a sweatshop making toys. And if you want to think about it, maybe that's what the story meant all along. I mean, he always said elves, but in the Santa Claus movie, the one with Tim Allen, they were all little kids who said they stopped aging. What if Santa Claus was secretly kidnapping kids? You know, like saying, I'll keep you alive if you build toys for me. They should have like a dark Santa Claus story like they have a Krampus story. Maybe Krampus will be our next video. I'm not sure. But anyway, I promise to stop taking week breaks just so I can make it snow and make y'all lives a little bit better or a little bit worse. I'm the king of insanity. I feel like doing what I want to do. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay weird, stay wild, and keep on doing something. I don't know. I need an ending for a video. Bye-bye.